Hello, this is Chapter 4 of The Razor's Edge. Enjoy. My thoughts had a way with timing, as in they had the absolute worst timing. As the alarm was screeching, what little I remember of more pleasant days were flashing through my head. The days when I had a family and hope. Instead of filling me with the warmth and comfort that they should bring, they only served to remind me of what I no longer possessed. My feet halted in their journey to find Jamie, and instead carried me to where the wind would find me. I'll apologize for leaving him later. The wind spirit picked me up and carried me just outside of town. Trees covered the expanse of land, with a few houses littered here and there. Maybe I'll find some peace in nature. I directed the wind towards a sturdy-looking tree where I could observe the calm outdoors. The world was silent, save for the singing of the birds. "Wait up a second. Let me grab my coat and then we can play," a distant voice announced. It was a sweet, gentle voice. It pulled me in like it was calling for me. I flew down and hid behind the shadows of a large pine tree, despite knowing that the owner of the voice probably wouldn't see me anyway. I peeked out just enough to see a girl pulling on a mid-thigh length yellow coat with a fur-lined hood. Her hair was a silky strawberry blonde that fell in soft natural waves and ended at her shoulder blades. Her face was as delicate and as gentle as her voice. Well, this girl was truly beautiful. I was torn from my trance when I heard a dog bark. "What are you barking at, Sammy? Is Jack Frost nipping at your nose?" I gasped and leaned back on my staff for support as my mind did a 180 and hope surged through me. Did she just say my name? Could she possibly believe in me? I wasn't waiting to find out. I stepped out of my hiding place and into plain sight. My hope was just squashed again as she continued. "Oh, there's nothing to worry about, girl. Jack Frost isn't real. It's just an old tale Mom used to tell us." "No, I'm right here," I tried, knowing full well they couldn't hear me. I sought out something, anything that might get this angelic girl to believe. Just then I remembered what I did to get Jamie to see me. I would wait until she went back inside, and then I would make a miracle. Watching her play with her dog was the most fun I'd had in days. There was a special bond between the two that I could see. "All right, I'm getting cold, Sam. Let's go inside." The girl led her dog into the house and took off her coat. She unknowingly led me to her room, which made me feel slightly like a stalker, but I began to frost the windows to get her attention nonetheless. She looked over, so I started to draw my name. "What, Mom?" the girl asked. I wrote, "No." "Who? Jack Frost? Are you real?" "Yes." Her eyes went wide when she finally saw me. I could feel the new life rush through me as another light popped up on the globe. A light just for me. Mom was right all along. You're really here. In my room." Just as the door was about to close behind her, I slid through it. I didn't really think this through. I couldn't even think of what to say. With a dumb smile plastered across my face, I said the safest thing I could. Hey." I'm such an idiot. I mentally facepalmed myself for my ever-poetic hey. I was starting to get anxious when she said, "My mom used to see you flying around and playing with kids. She always told me you were very handsome, and I never believed her, but—" "Wait, she could see me? How?" "Only believers could see me, but I didn't think anyone believed in me back then. I don't know how, but from what I remember, she was always a very special person." I couldn't believe it. Someone out there had believed in me. "Well, do you believe her now?" "What? That you're real? Or that you're handsome?" she said with a smirk. "Well, you can see me, so I'm assuming you believe I'm real." "I guess you're right. But the second one is a secret," she said with a laugh. "She probably thinks I'm ugly. I don't blame her. I think so too." To avoid thinking too much, I decided to make conversation. "So, why were you talking about your mom in the past tense?" She sat down on her bed and looked down at her hands. "Sorry, that was too personal. You don't have to answer that if you don't want to." No, it's fine. I don't know what happened to her. One day she just left and never came back. My dad was never in the picture. I never knew him. But I live here with my grandparents. I'm so sorry. I can kind of relate, I said, looking at her as she was looking at her hands. Suddenly, she looked up at me. What about you, though? What's your family like? Now, that was a question I wasn't prepared to answer. My whole family is gone. I don't remember any of their names, only what they looked like and what it felt like to love them. Well, my family's all gone. I had a sister and a mother. I don't think I knew my father, I said. The feeling of not knowing my own past made me so angry. I'm so sorry I don't remember your names. You deserve to be remembered. The girl, whose name I didn't know, reached up and put her hand in mine. Then I guess we're in the same boat. She smiled, and it was like a bright, warm, comforting hug. If I hadn't smiled back, it would have been a crime. The smile didn't last long, though. Kate took note of something out the window and directed my eyes with her finger to what had caught her attention. Turning around, I saw the signal lights that were telling me to come back to the pole. Aren't they beautiful? She asked. Yeah, but crap, I have to go. I dropped her hand and ran over to her bedroom window. I hadn't realized it had gotten so late. Wait, where are you going? I have to go to the North Pole. It's an emergency. Will I see you again? Only if you want to. I do. Oh, you don't even know my name. How rude of me. I'm Kate Alder. It's been a pleasure, Kate Alder. I got up on the windowsill with my staff and looked back at her waving goodbye. I crafted the most intricate snowflake I could manage and blew it in her direction as I leapt into the wind. Okay, that was chapter 4, and I am also going to read chapter 5 as well. Okay, so here is chapter 5. The wind whipped at my hair furiously. She was pulling me back as if telling me not to go. They might need me. Please let go. I need to help them. The wind gave up its hold on me like I'd asked, but I could still feel her waiting to snatch me up again if she deemed it necessary. When I arrived at the North Pole, it was eerily quiet. I burst through the front doors, and a Yeti groaned as the gust of wind brought from outside knocked over a pile of toys he was working on. Any other time I would have laughed, but I was on a mission. North, what happened? I shouted as I reached the globe room. Bunny and Tooth shared a look, their eyes filled with worry. Sandy looked less worried than he did ready to fight. He was making images so fast with his dream sand, I couldn't make out what he was trying to say. Jack, it's Manny. He's chosen a new guardian, said Tooth, her wings flapping fast enough to cause a hurricane. You guys look like someone just died. Who did Manny pick? Is it really that bad that you had to send the lights? I was slowly walking toward them when I felt the same chills run down my spine as I did just hours ago at Jamie's school. Hello, Jack. My skin crawled at that voice. I gripped my staff with a familiar rage and whipped my head to see pitch black standing behind me. What are you doing in here? Get out! I seethed and pointed my staff right at his face. I slowly calmed down and lowered my arm as I felt Tooth's hand rest on my shoulder. He's the new guardian. Manny changed his powers, Jack. He's one of us now. Her soothing voice caused my breathing to steady, but I still had a death grip on my staff. But why? Why do we need a new guardian? And how could Pitch possibly help the same children he tried to hurt? I added to myself. I took a closer look at Pitch and realized he was no longer all gray and black. He had normal skin, but still wore black clothing. How could he have changed so much in a matter of weeks? What we've come to understand is that Manny changed Pitch's powers, mate. He can't make nightmares anymore, explained Bunny. He sent Pitch because there are many children that are depressed. There are too many taking their own lives. His new powers will help find them and tell us what they need to be happy again. That's his new purpose. Bunny's calm act was betrayed by his eyes. He felt just as much resentment for Pitch as I did. We can't just trust him after all the bad he's done. Do you trust man in moon? North asked. a seriousness replacing any other feeling once held in his eyes. The answer should have come easy, but this time it wasn't so simple. After we ended our discussion about pitch, he didn't say a single word. He just stared at me with pitying eyes that made me sick. The other guardians eventually left us alone to talk, but that was the last thing I wanted to do. I'm so sorry, Jack. I know now that what I did. You're sorry? How could someone like you ever understand what it's like to be sorry? Pitch didn't respond, but instead gave me another disgusting look of pity. I felt so much rage it needed somewhere to go, but I couldn't show any weakness while Pitch was here. I'm sure it would only satisfy him to see me in such a state. Jack, I know you're depressed. I shot him an icy cold glare. I don't know what you're talking about. You know nothing about me. How could the guardian of fun be depressed? You're just full of it, aren't you? Jack, I can help you. Help me? The only way you can help me is if you stop talking about me like you know me, like you understand what I'm going through. I don't need your help. I couldn't take another second of this, but my feet didn't have enough energy to take me anywhere else. Just when I thought my knees would give out, the wind came through a window and took me into its graceful arms. Before I knew it, I was far away from the North Pole, and far away from the suffocation of everything that had happened today. For the first time ever, I swore I heard the wind talk to me, but it was swept away as she set me down. I could no longer feel her mothering touch, and tears came to my eyes. I needed that affection. I couldn't bear this without it. My mental stability was a balancing act. I was leaning farther and farther over the edge of the tightrope until I leaned too far. I stared at an ice dagger that glinted under the light of the moon. I'm sorry, Manny. I know I'm not who I used to be. The skin on my left arm had seen better days. Same as me. How funny. My skin was a reflection of everything I've lost, and everything I couldn't be. Maybe this wasn't the best idea, but it was the only one I could manage. I was falling off the tightrope, until all I could feel was the cold of the dagger in my hand. My arm, enveloped in red, made it seem like I was never made of skin at all. Thank you so much for listening. That was Chapter 5 of The Razor's Edge. Until next time, bye-bye.